Welcome everyone to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May 11th, 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so still crescent phase, still beginning of the lunar cycle. We just had that new moon last Friday in Aries, so things are moving forward slowly but surely, and it is good to be taking that action and getting that momentum moving this part of the week. In fact, the aspects are very nice in the astrology, but that's what the crescent phase is about. It's about planting new things, new seeds, getting things started, that sort of stuff. So today the moon is going to be in Gemini for the first half, and so I think it's still like yesterday, perhaps a bit of that inquisitive nature. I think great for doing things like reading, writing, speaking. There could be a bit of that variable and mutable energy as well. So the key with the first half of the day is, Mercury is still retrograde, and a lot of planets are still retrograde, in fact. So there's a lot of this re-examining going on, right? So although it's a time of definitely moving forward, it's good to be adaptive, right? Be flexible. And again, this is going back to the whole trying new things kind of a thing. So with this in particular, I think just having that extra attention of the mind, having the extra attention to the communication, anything that we normally rely on, of course, which is that Mercury retrograde, good to bring that extra attention there with that. And we tend to be in a bit of an automatic sort of mode too in the daily sphere. And that's why the extra attention helps with that, to balance that out and to see where we could cross those T's, dot those I's, make sure everything is done correctly. So that's the first half, definitely that more daily, immediate environment, inquisitive mental energy. But as the day unfolds, the moon does shift into Cancer. And so the second half of the day does have this more watery quality to it. So I think it's good here for connecting with home and family, as it normally is with Cancer. But really our comfort and security really comes into the forefront, right? So it is just generally, whether it's whatever's going on externally, it is good to have that connection with our feelings, right? To have that connection with our roots, with our bodies, and even our past, maybe a bit of that reflective energy, right? And cultivating that nurturing and caring quality within us. So that's going to be the backdrop to what is still, again, a bit of an active time. In fact, probably very much so. And this is the sun in Aries, where we're gaining energy through motion, through action. Again, a reflection of all this. Perhaps our communications are very direct, as they have been, very independent in nature, and perhaps even involving relationships, which I think is going to be still strong today, because Venus is going to be still within that trine up to Jupiter. A bit of that still directness and independent energy in relationships, but it's got this buoyant quality to it with Jupiter, right? And I think it's a bit of that perhaps easygoing nature too. Jupiter just kind of lifts things up a bit. And in terms of the everyday things, maybe enjoying the simple pleasures, all right? That good meal, the relaxation could be very nice here today. And one thing I want to say too is we're really seeing what's possible, because what's forming up in the sky is this kite. And that's what this last new moon was, having a lot of this supportive energy, especially with Jupiter, who's recently gone direct, in terms of seeing what's possible in our life, all right, and how we can cultivate those things that we do enjoy, those things that are our values, right? So I think a great day for those things, whether it's relationship related or just the enjoyments and values. So then as the day unfolds, we do start to experience this Mercury trining up to Pluto, which is going to be very strong this second half of the day. Or excuse me, yeah, second half of the day and second half of the week. And so here there is this really deep insight. And I think we're willing to really see the deep truth of things. And this is great, because this is actually the second aspect with this. So Mercury's already gone over this position, has now gone retrograde back over it, and is going to go over it again. So there's definitely something here to be changed, right? And there's something here to be explored with the mind, with the psyche, right, with those insights. And so I think it's an excellent day for that. I think diving deep with self, diving deep with the mind. It could be a bit of that powerful mind, in fact, really good for research, by the way, anything that requires that diving deep. And maybe even communications can be quite deep and meaningful. All right, so that's the trine, which makes it very supportive, but of course Pluto is still nonetheless a very deep planet. And so it's still about being willing to do that, which I think to a degree we are. And I think through that deeper exploration of self, of the mind, then there is that supportive transformation, getting rid of those, just naturally through that awareness, those old belief systems, those old mental patterns they just go through that awareness, right? Once we shine that conscious light on them. So that's going to be strongest tomorrow, but I did want to mention that very good for any of that deeper insight and examining the self, particularly in terms of how we think and how we see things. So that's the day in a nutshell. In the early part, we do have some lunar aspects. We have the moon squaring up to Uranus. This will be mostly applicable if you're in Europe or the East. Maybe a bit of that wanting to break free. So it's good to be a bit, just kind of take a step back for a second in the early part if you do feel a bit of that irritability or wanting to break free or make some sudden, decisions or things. It's good with this, especially if it's emotional. Just have that extra awareness of the emotions. And of course, what might be calling you to have more freedom in your life, but can be done in that constructive way. And the moon does trine up to Chiron in the early part too, so it could be a healing day, right? And this is going back to a lot of the supportive trine and kite energy in the sky this week. So today in a nutshell, definitely the strongest energy being this, it's kind of a pivotal day, in fact. It's kind of this shifting day. I think these two aspects, Venus trining up to Jupiter, still strong. Still about seeing what's possible. Right, enjoying those perhaps relationships, values, simple pleasures of life. And also this Mercury trining Pluto. Deep change, deep insight, powerful communications through wanting to see the truth, right? So of course it starts with self. And so that's the pivotal day. And then in terms of this early lunar cycle, still good to be getting that energy moving, that momentum, slowly but surely. The moon in Cancer for the second half of the day, really emphasizing that it's good to connect to our feelings, right? Connect to that more receptive approach because we are coming out of this more mental energy of Gemini, which is more, inquisitive in nature, right? It's got that mental activity. But as the day unfolds, connecting to feeling, connecting to the emotions and to the roots, right? And perhaps in that deep, powerful way, which is that trine from Pluto. All right, so I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.